कुम्भकर्णकालम्बोदरस्य विकटो विघ्नराजो विनायक धूम्रकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षो भालचन्द्रो गजाननं द्वादशैतानि नामानि यापते चिनियादपे विद्यारम्भे विवाहे च प्रवेशे निर्गमे तथा संग्रामे संकटश्चैव विघ्नस्तस्य न जायते। ओं शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये इति स्वस्ति वचनम्। ओं गं गणेशाय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ती प्रचोदयात्। ओं गं गणपतये नमः। ध्यानं समर्पयामि गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपितजम्बूफलचारुभक्षणम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम्। आवाहनं समर्पयामि रम्यं सुशोभनं दिव्यं सर्वसौख्याकरं शुभम् आसनं च मया दत्तं गृहाण परमेश्वर आसनं समर्पयामि नमः। पाधयो पाधयामि नमः। अर्घयो अर्घयामि नमः। मुखे आचमनीयं समर्पयामि नमः। शुद्धोदकस्नानं समर्पयामि नमः। ओं गं गणपतये नमः। पंचामृतमया नीतं पयोदधीकृतं मधु शर्करासमायुक्तं स्नानातं प्रतिगृहताम् पंचामृतमहास्नानं समर्पयामि नमः। ओं गं गणपतये नमः। गंगे च यमुने चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदा सिन्धु कावेरी जलेऽस्मिन् सन्निधिं कुरु। ओं गं गणपतये नमः। ओं गं गणपतये नमः। ओं गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। ॐ महागणपतये नमः। ओं लं नमस्ते गणपतये त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं धर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं हर्तासि त्वमेव सर्वं खल्विदं ब्रह्मासि त्वं साक्षादात्मासि नित्यं ऋतं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि अवत्त्वमामवक्तारम् अवशोतारम् अवधातारम् अवधातारम् अवानुचानमशिष्यम् अवपश्चातात् पुरस्तात् वाचोतरातात् वाधरातात् सर्वतो मां पाहि पाहि समन्तात्। त्वं वाङ्मयस्त्वं चिन्मयः त्वमानन्दमयस्त्वं ब्रह्ममय त्वं सच्चिदानन्दाद्वितीयोऽसि त्वं प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वं ज्ञानमयो विज्ञानमयोऽसि। सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तो जायते सर्वं जगदिदं त्वदष्टिष्ठति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयलयमेष्यति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि प्रत्येति। त्वं भूमिरापो नलो निलो नभः। ॐ महागणपते नमः। ॐ सुमुखाय नमः। ॐ एकदन्ताय नमः। ॐ कपिलाय नमः। ॐ गजकर्णकाय नमः। ॐ लम्बोदराय नमः। ॐ विकटाय नमः। ॐ विघ्नराजाय नमः। ॐ विनायकाय नमः। ॐ धूम्रकेतवे नमः। ॐ घनाध्यक्षाय नमः। ओं भालचंद्राय नमः। ओं गजाननाय नमः। ओं वक्रतुंडाय नमः। ओं शूर्पकर्णाय नमः। ओं हेरंबाय नमः। ओं स्कंदपूर्वजाय नमः। सिद्धिलंबोदर महागणपति स्वामिने नमः। पुष्पं सधूपमाग्रापयामि नमः। त्वं वाङ्मयस्त्वं चिन्मयः त्वमानन्दमयस्त्वं ब्रह्ममयः त्वं सच्चिदानन्दादित्योऽसि त्वं प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वं ज्ञानमयो विज्ञानमयोऽसि। सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तो जायते सर्वं जगदिदं त्वदष्टिष्ठति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयलयमेष्यति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि प्रत्येति। त्वं भूमिरापो नलो निलो नभः। त्वं चत्वारि वाक्पदानि त्वं गुणत्रयातीतः त्वं देहत्रयातीतः त्वं कालत्रयातीतः त्वं मूलाधारस्थितोऽसि नित्यं त्वं शक्तित्रयात्मका त्वं योगिनो ध्यायन्ति नित्यं। त्वं ब्रह्मास्त्वं विष्णुस्त्वं रुद्रस्त्वमिन्द्रस्त्वमग्निस्त्वं वायुस्त्वं सूर्यस्त्वं चन्द्रमास्त्वं ब्रह्मा भूर्भुवस्वरो गणाधिं पूर्वमुच्चार्यं वर्णादिं तदनन्तरम् अनुस्वारपरतरहार्देन्दुतुलसितं तारेण रुद्धं। हे तत्तव मनुष्यरूपं गकारः पूर्वरूपं मकारो मध्यमरूपं मनुस्वार्यश्चान्त्यरूपं विन्दुद्युत्तररूपं नादः सन्धानां संहिता संधिः श्रीसैषा गणेशविद्या गणकऋषिः निचिद्गायत्री छन्दः श्रीमहागणपतिर्देवता ॐ गं गणपतये नमः एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ति प्रचोदयात् एकदन्तं चतुर्हस्तं पाशमं कुशधारणम् अभयं वरदं हस्ते बिभ्राणामूषकध्वजं रक्तं लम्बोदरं शूर्पकर्णकं रक्तावासितं रक्तगन्धानुलिप्ताङ्गं रक्तपुष्पे सुपूजितं भक्तानुकाम्पिनं देहं जगत्कारणमच्युतं आविर्भूतं च शिष्टारो प्रकृतिपुरुषात् परम् एवं ध्यायन्ति यो नित्यं स योगी योगिनावर ॐ नमो व्रातपतये नमः प्रमदपतये नमस्तेऽस्तु लम्बोदराय एकदन्ताय विघ्नविनाशिने शिवसुताय श्रीवरदमूर्तये नमः ॐ गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्तजम्बूफलचारुभक्षणम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजं बोले गणपति भगवान की जय। कलश पूजा। ॐ कलशस्यामुखे विष्णुगन्धे रुद्रासमासिताः मूले तस्यासते ब्रह्मा मध्ये मातृगणस्मृताः उक्षौ तु सागरा सर्वसप्तदीपवसुन्धरा ऋग्वेदोऽथ यजुर्वेदो सामवेदो यतर्वणा अङ्गैश्च सहिता सर्वे कलशं तु समासिताः ॐ जम्बकाय विद्महे पाशहस्ताय धीमहि तन्नो वरुणः प्रचोदयात् ॐ वं वरुणाय नमः ॐ वं वरुणाय नमः गन्धं धारयामि नमः ॐ अक्षतां समर्पयामि नमः ॐ वं वरुणाय नमः पुष्पं समर्पयामि नमः ॐ वं वरुणाय नमः ॐ वं प्रचेतसे नमः ॐ वं स्वरूपिणे नमः ॐ वं अपाम्बते नमः ॐ वं जलाधिपते नमः ॐ वं पाशहस्ताय नमः ॐ वं कर्मनिभूषणाय नमः ॐ वं तीर्थराजाय नमः ॐ वं वरुणाय नमः पुष्पं समर्पयामि नमः ॐ धूपमाग्रापयामि ॐ वनस्पतिरसोद्भूतो गन्धाद्यो गन्धोत्तमामाग्रह सर्वदेवानां धूपोऽयं प्रतिगृहतां साजं च वर्ति संयुक्तं वह्ननायोजितं मया दीपं गृहाण देवेश त्रैलोक्यतिमिरापहं धूपदीपनिवारणाय नमः ॐ वं वरुणाय नमः नमो मकरवाहनाय पाशहस्ताय वे नमः नमो प्रचेतसेनाय वं वरुणाय नमः नैवेद्यमात्मनिं समर्पयामि ताम्बूलफलं यतुभ्यं समर्पयामि ॐ वं वरुणाय नमः ॐ हिरण्यसिंहं वरुणं प्रबध्यं तीर्थं मे देहि याचिता यन्मया भूप्तं साधूनां पापे भयश्चापतिग्रह यन्मे मनसा वाचा कर्मणा वा दुष्कृतं कृतं तन्ना इन्द्रो वरुणो बृहस्पति सविता च पुनन्तु पुनः पुनः बोले वरुण भगवान की जय। अच्छा चलो yeah. Bring a parcel for me.
बोलो श्री दुर्गा माता की जय। ओम दुम दुर्गाय नमः। ओम दुम दुर्गाय नमः। ओम दुम दुर्गाय नमः। जयंती मंगला काली भद्रकाली कृपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा धात्री स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते। जय त्वं देवी चामुण्डे जय भूतारतिहारिणी जय सर्वगते देवी कालरात्रि नमोऽस्तु ते। ॐ कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमार्य धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गे प्रचोदयात्। बोलो श्री दुर्गा माता की जय। ॐ दुं दुर्गाय नमः। आवाहनं समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ दुं दुर्गाय नमः। आसनं समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ दुं दुर्गाय नमः। रम्यं सुशोभनं दिव्यं सर्वसौख्याकरं शुभम् आसनं च मया दत्तं गृहाणा परमेश्वर। ॐ श्री दुं दुर्गाय नमः। आसनं समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ दुं दुर्गाय नमः। ॐ मल्यादिनि सुगन्धिनि मालत्यादिनि वै प्रभो मया ऋतानि पूजार्थं पुष्पाणि प्रतिगृहीता। ॐ दुं दुर्गाय नमः। पुष्पं समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ महास्नानं समर्पयामि पादयो पादयामि नमः। कृष्णोदकं निर्मलं च सर्वसौगन्धसंयुक्तं पादप्रक्षालनार्थाय दत्तमस्ते प्रतिगृहीता। ॐ दुं दुर्गाय नमः। स्नानं समर्पयामि नमः। पादयो पादयामि नमः। ॐ गङ्गे यमुने चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदा सिन्धु कावेरी जलेऽस्मिन् सन्निधिं कुरु। ॐ दुं दुर्गाय नमः। चन्दनं समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ श्रीकर्णचन्दनं दिव्यं गङ्गादिं सुमनोहरं गृहे फलं सुराश्रेष्ठः चन्दनं प्रतिगृहीता। ॐ गन्धद्वाराधुरादर्शा नित्यपुष्टां करीशनीम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां कामिहोपक्लेश्यम्। कामना कामसम्भवा कुङ्कुमेनाचिते देवा तथा शान्तिं प्रयच्छति। ॐ दुं दुर्गाय नमः। कुङ्कुमं समर्पयामि नमः। ॐ दुं दुर्गाय नमः। गन्धं धारयामि नमः। ॐ शृणो देवी प्रवक्ष्यामि कुञ्चिकास्तोत्रमुत्तमं येन मन्त्रप्रभातेन चन्द्रीजापः शुभो भवेत्। कवचं नागरास्तोत्रं कीलकं न रहस्यकं न सुप्तं नापि ध्यानं च न न्यासो न च भर्जनं। कुञ्चिकापाठमात्रेण दुर्गापाठफलं लभेत् अतिगुह्यतरं देवी देवानां दुर्लभं। गोपनीयं प्रयत्नेन स्वयोनिर्वपार्वती मारणं मोहनं वश्य स्तम्भनो चातनाजिनं। पाठमात्रेण संसिद्धये कुञ्चिकास्तोत्रमुत्तमम् अतमग्रः। ॐ ऐं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुण्डाय विद्ये। ॐ ग्लौं ह्रीं क्लीं सः ज्वाले ज्वाले जल प्रज्वल प्रज्वल। ऐं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुण्डाय विद्ये। ज्वल हंसं लं शं भग स्वाहा। मन्त्रः नमस्ते रुद्ररूपिण्ये नमस्ते मदमर्दने नमः कैतवहारिण्ये नमस्ते महिषासुरे नमस्ते शुम्भवन्त्रेष्ठाय शुम्भासुरगादिने। जागतं हि महादेवी जपं सिद्धिं पुरुषणे। ऐङ्कारि शिष्यरूपाय ह्रीङ्कारि प्रतिपालिका ह्रीङ्कारि कामरूपिण्ये बीजरूपे नमोऽस्तुते। चामुण्डा चण्डिका ईशा ऐङ्कारि वरदायिनी विद्ये चाभयदायत्र नमस्ते मन्त्ररूपिणी। ह्रां ह्रीं ह्रूं दुरुजटे पत्नीं वां ह्रीं हूं वागरीश्वरी ह्रां ह्रीं गुरुं कालिकायै ह्रां श्रीं श्रीं मे शुभं कुरु। हुं हुं हुंकाररूपिण्ये जं 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 धनागनि। ह्रां ह्रीं ह्रूं भैरवी भद्रे भवानी ते नमो नमः। ॐ अहं कं चं तं तं पं यं शं ह्रीं ह्रूं ऐं ह्रीं हं शं विजाग्रहं विजाग्रहं स्तोत्रे स्तोत्रे दीप्तं कुरु कुरु स्वाहा। आं ह्रीं क्लीं पार्वती पूर्णम् आं क्लीं क्लीं केचरी पुरा सां क्लीं क्लीं सप्तशती देव्या मन्त्रप्रसिद्धिं कुरुष्वे। इदं तु कुञ्जिकास्तोत्रं मन्त्रजागाटिः भवेत्। भक्तेनेकदा रुद्रयामले गौरीतन्त्रे शिवपार्वती संवादे कुञ्जिकास्तोत्रं सम्पूर्णम् सुनवामः सोममरात्यतो निदहाति वेदः सन्नः परशदति दुर्गानि विश्वा तावेव सिंहुन्दुरितात्यग्निः कामग्निर्वर्णा तपसा जनन्ति वैरोचनीं कर्मफलेषुजुष्टां दुर्गादेवी शरन्महाप्रपद्ये तदसि तरसे नमः अग्ने त्वां पारनव्या तस्मात् प्रसिद्धिरिति दुर्गानि विश्वा पूषपृथिवी बहुराण उर्वी भवातोकाय तनयाय संयोगः विश्वानि नो दुर्गः जातवेदः सिन्धुन्ननावातुरिताति वर्षि अग्ने अत्रिवन्मनसाग्रदानोः अस्माकं भोजमितादनूनां वृदनादिजगं सह मानवत्वम् अग्निं भुवें परमासदस्तात् सन्नः परिषदति दुर्गानि विश्वा श्यामद्देवो अदितुरितात्यग्निः प्रत्नोषीकमिभ्यो अध्वरेशो सना चाहोता नव्यस्य षष्ठी सां चा अग्रे तनुवं विप्रयस्व सौभगमायुजुष्वं गोभिर्जुष्टमयुजो चिन्तनमिरेन्द्र विष्णोरनुसञ्चरेम नाकस्य पृष्ठमभिसंवसानो वैष्णवीलोकैहमादजिन्दा ॐ कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारी धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गे प्रचोदयात्। सुवर्णारजितस्रजां चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो मा आवह तां मा आवह जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीं यस्यां हिरण्यं विन्देयं कामश्वां पुरुषाणाम् अश्वपूर्वारतमध्यां हस्तिनादप्रमोदिनीं श्रियं देवीमुपक्वे शर्मादेवी जुषतां कां स्वस्तितां हिरण्यप्राकारामाद्रां ज्वलन्तीं तृप्त्यां तर्पयन्तीं पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोपक्वे श्रियं चन्द्राप्रभासा यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदारां तां पद्मिनीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये अलक्ष्मीर्वेण शतां त्वां हृदे आदित्यवर्णो तपसोऽधिजातो वनस्पतस्त्वपतिशोतबिल्वा तस्य फलानि तपसा निदन्तु मायान्तराय अबाह्या अलक्ष्मी उपैर्मां देवसखः यतीशामुनिनाशः प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि अनपेऽस्मिन् ददातु मे सुकृपासामलां येषां लक्ष्मीनाशनाम्यहम् अभूतम् अस्फुटं च तन्वान्निर्मे गृहात् गन्धद्वारादर्शादित्यपुष्टाकरीषिणीम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां कामिभोपक्वेश्यं मनसः कामापूर्तिं वाचा सत्यमशीमहि पशूनां रूपमन्त्रस्य मयि श्रीशयतां यशा कर्दनेन भूता मयि सम्भवकर्णमः श्रियं वासे मे कुरे मधुरं पद्ममालिनी आपः चिन्तन्तु स्निग्धानि चिक्लितविषे मे गृहे निचदेवी मातरं श्रियं वासे मे कुले आद्रा पुष्करीं पुष्टिं सुवर्णा हेममालिनीं सूर्या हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः तां महावः जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनुपगामिनीं यस्यां हिरण्यं प्रभूतं गावो दासो श्वान् विन्देयं पुरुषाणः यशुचिः प्रतो भूत्वा दृश्याराजमङ्गलम् सुप्तं पशदर्श च श्रीकामः सततं जपे माता की जय। सामृषभो विष्णुरूपासमभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्मृणोतु अमृतस्य देवाधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचक्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमः कर्णाभ्यां भूरिविश्वं ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पीतः श्रुतं मे गोपाय ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ मेधा देवी जुषमाना न आगादच्छ्वाची भद्रासुमनस्य माना त्वया जुष्टानुरमाना दुरुक्तान् बृहद्दतीं विजते सुवीराः त्वया जुष्टा ऋषिर्भवति देवी त्वया ब्रह्मागतश्रीरुत्वया स्वयमिष्टच्छिन्द्रं विन्दते वचसानुशस्त्रविनो न मेदे मेदाम इन्द्रो ददातु मेदां देवी सरस्वती मेदा मे अश्विना गुहाभादितां पुष्करस्रजाम् अप्सरासु च या मेधा गन्धर्वेषु च यन्मना देवी मेधा सरस्वती सामा मेधा सर्वेश्वता स्वाहा आमा मेधा सर्वविश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगती जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पैसा पिन्वमाना सामा मेधा सुप्रतीकादिशन्ता मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयि घ्नस्तेजो ददातु मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयि इन्द्रियं ददातु मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयि सूर्यो भाजो ददातु ॐ महाशक्ति च विद्महे ब्रह्मपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो प्रचोदयात् हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात्। सरस्वती माता की जय।
दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ। दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ। करुणा सागर माँ, काल की पालनी माँ। करुणा सागर माँ, काल की पालनी माँ। जगत उधारनी माँ, जग जननी जय जय माँ। जगत उधारनी माँ, जग जननी जय जय माँ। दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ। करुणा सागर माँ, काल की पालनी माँ। करुणा सागर माँ, काल की पालनी माँ। जगत उधारनी माँ, जग जननी जय जय माँ। जगत उधारनी माँ, जग जननी जय जय माँ। दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ। दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ। दुर्गे जय जय माँ। दुर्गे जय जय माँ। जग की रखवाले करने वाले जगदम्बे मैया। 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 महिमा तुम्हारी है निराली जगदम्बे मैया। महिमा तुम्हारी है निराली जगदम्बे मैया। जग की रखवाले करने वाले जगदम्बे मैया। की रखवाले करने वाले जगदम्बे मैया। तेरी दया से जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ। जगत जननी जगदम्बिके हे माँ, हे माँ। जगत जननी जगदम्बिके हे माँ, हे माँ। मैं आत पहर महिमा गाऊं, तेरे सुमिरन से सुख पाऊं। हे परम सुखदाय परदायिनी हे माँ, हे माँ। जगत जननी जगदम्बिके हे माँ, हे माँ। तू दिव्य ज्योत, तू सुख तारत, तू भक्त जनों की उतारक। भव सागर में सब के तारक, तू स्वयं शक्ति शक्ति धारक। मैं देव सिर तुझको ध्याऊं, तेरे सुमिरन से सुख पाऊं। हे परम सुखदाई परदायिनी हे माँ, हे माँ। जगत जननी जगदम्बिके हे माँ, हे माँ। तू भव प्रीता नंदमयी, तू रन चंडी, तू काल जयी। हर युग में तेरे रूप करे, हर पूजा में तू लागे रे। मन अपना तुझे तक देना हो, तेरे सुमिरन से सुख पाऊं। हे परम सुखदाई परदायिनी हे माँ, हे माँ। जगत जननी जगदम्बिके हे माँ, हे माँ। जय जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ। जय जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ। जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ।
बोले श्री दुर्गा माता की जय। Let us now join together in Prarthana, everyone. Please clasp your hands. वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ अतुलितबलधामं हेमशैलाभदेहं धनुजवनकृशानं ज्ञानिनां मृगगण्यं सकलगुणनिधानं वानराणामधीशं रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि। करारविन्दे न पदारविन्दं मूकारविन्दे विनिवेशयन्त्रं वतस्य पत्रस्य पुतेशयानं बालमुकुन्द मनसा स्मरामि। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव।
श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव।
लोकाभिरामं रणरङ्गधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरन्तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं मनसा स्मरामि। श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम। श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम। श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम। श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम। ॐ वन्दे देवमुमापतिं सुरगुरुं वन्दे जगत्कारणं वन्दे पन्नगभूषणं मृगधरं वन्दे पशूनां वन्दे सूर्यशशाङ्कवाहनयनं वन्दे मुकुन्दप्रियं वन्दे भक्तजनाश्रयं च वरदं वन्दे शिवं शङ्करम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय। ॐ या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापः। ॐ लक्ष्मीकरोतु कल्याणम् आरोग्यं सुखसम्पद मम शत्रुविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते। दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दन दीपो मे हरतो पापं दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते। ॐ श्रीमहालक्ष्म्यै नमः। ॐ सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोऽस्तु ते। ॐ नमो दिव्ये महादिव्ये शिवाय सततं नमः। नमः प्रकृत्य भद्राय नियताः प्रणताः स्मतां। रौद्राय नमो नित्याय गौरे धात्रे नमो नमः। ज्योत्स्नाय चिन्दूरूपिण्ये सुखाय सततं नमः। कल्याणे प्रणतां वृद्धि सिद्धि कुर्मो नमो नमः। नैऋत्ये भूभृतां लक्ष्मी सर्वाणि ते नमो नमः। दुर्गाय दुर्गपाराय साराय सर्वकारिण्ये ख्याते तथैव कृष्णाय धूम्राय सततं नमः। अतिसौम्यातिरौद्राय नतास्तस्यै नमो नमः। नमो जगत्प्रतिष्ठाय दिव्ये कृत्ये नमो नमः. Now join with us in this beautiful stotra mantra. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Vishnumayati Shadvita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah.
Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Chaitanyatya Vidhiyate Namastasye 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 Namo Namah.
Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah.
Namastasye Namo Namah.
Oh Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Nidra Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah.
Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shuddha Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah.
Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Chaya Rupena Samstita
Namastasye Namastasye
Namastasye Namo Namah.
Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita
Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Krishna Rupena Samstita
Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samstita
Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Jati Rupena Samstita
Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lajja Rupena Samstita
Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samstita
Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shraddha Rupena Samstita
Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Kanti Rupena Samstita
Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Samstita
Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu
वृत्तिरूपेण संस्थिता
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु स्मृतिरूपेण संस्थिता
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु दयारूपेण संस्थिता
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु तुष्टिरूपेण संस्थिता
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु भ्रान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः
इन्द्रियाणाम् अधिष्ठात्री भूतानां चाकुलेशय भूतेषु सततं तस्यै व्याप्ति दिव्ये नमो नमः चित्तिरूपेण या कृत्स्ने मेतद्व्याप्यस्ते तत् जगत् नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो
ओ
नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो
ओ
नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः ॐ जयन्ती मङ्गला काली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा धात्री स्वाहा स्वधा नमोऽस्तु ते जय त्वं देवी चामुण्डे जय भूतारतिहारिणि जय सर्वगते देवी कालरात्रि नमोऽस्तु ते रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय मा रूपं देहि
जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय
मधुकेतव्यविद्रावी विधात्री वरदे नमः रूपं देहि
जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय
महिषासुरनिरनाशी भक्तानां सुखदे नमः
रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय
रक्तबीजवदे देवी छन्दमुण्डविनाशिनी रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय
रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय मा रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय
शुम्भस्य वे निशुम्भस्य धूम्राश्चर्चमर्दनी
रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दशो जय
वन्दे श्वेताङ्ग्रयग्रे देवी सर्वसौभाग्यदायिनी
रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय मा रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय
अचिन्त्य रूप चरिते सर्वशत्रुविनाशिनी रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय मा
रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय
तेभ्यः सर्वदा भक्त्या चण्डिके दुर्तापे
रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय
मा
रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय
स्तुवद्भ्यो भक्तिपूर्वं त्वां चण्डिके व्याधिनाशिनी रूपं
देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय
मा रूपं
देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय
चण्डिके सततं ये त्वमर्चन्ति हि भक्तिता रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय मा रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय
रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय
रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि दिशो जय यशो देहि दिशो जय यशो देहि दिशो जय। बोलो श्री दुर्गा माता की, बोलो श्री लक्ष्मी माता की। Please join with me in this beautiful bhajan dedicated to Mahalakshmi Mata. Jai Lakshmi, Jai Lakshmi, Kalyani Maiya, Jai Lakshmi, Kalyani, Jai Lakshmi, Kalyani Maiya, Jai Lakshmi, Kalyani, Jai Lakshmi,
कल्याणी
Jai Lakshmi, Kalyani Maiya, Jai Lakshmi, Kalyani, Jai Lakshmi,
कल्याणी
सब आए शरण तिहारी मैया, आए शरण तिहारी मैया, दे दर्शन महारानी, दे दर्शन
महारानी
जय लक्ष्मी कल्याणी मैया, जय लक्ष्मी कल्याणी,
जय लक्ष्मी कल्याणी
तू मंगल में पावन मैया, कृपा सदा बरसावे, दीन दुखी शरणागत जन के बिगड़े काज बनावे, तू अनंत महादानी मैया, जय लक्ष्मी कल्याणी, जय लक्ष्मी Bolo Shri Lakshmi Mata ki Jai. There was once this sadhu, this monk, and he lived on top of a mountain. And because he lived on this mountain, there was no one else around him. He did what he had to do on this mountain. He meditated, he did dhyanam, he did his prayers, he did his penance. But to survive, he needed to venture into the city, the village that was below him, a very small village. And so every morning he would go down to this village. He would pick up his supplies, his fruits and his vegetables. He would venture back up the mountain and he continued along his day. And this became a routine for him. So the sadhu, every day he visited the same stall and the same markets in the same little village in the morning time to gather his supplies. One day, after gathering his supplies and he made it back up to the mountain, the sadhu, as he always does, he began to meditate. And his meditation was becoming more and more strong, more and more still, as we say. So still, in fact, that a snake that was crawling by happened to see the sadhu, how still he was, and the snake mistook him for a tree. That's how still the sadhu was in his meditation for a long period of time. And the snake saw the shawl on the sadhu's lap, his meditation shawl. And the snake went and he curled up on the sadhu's lap in a nice comfy position. It was very warm because of the shawl, and he thought this would be a nice place to take a nap. Now, the sadhu did not even notice that the snake was in his lap until maybe an hour later, until he felt something heavy, he realized, coming out of his meditation. He opened his eyes and he sees the snake that's in front of him, and right away he's afraid. And he's about to start trembling, but then he thinks to himself, if I'm scared, if I start to tremble, then this snake will realize that I'm not a tree or a nice place to take a nap, and the snake might bite me. So the sadhu, he remembers his training now. He closes his eyes again and he begins to meditate. He gets his mind still again and he continues along his meditation. Another 2 hours pass. He opens his eyes and he sees that the snake is still there. And so he continues to meditate again. But this time, he continued meditating for days and days. When the villagers in the city at the stall that he visited, they did not see the sadhu, they became very worried. He was living by himself. So one villager went up the mountain to see where he was, how he was doing. And he sees the sadhu is in meditation. He sees he's very still. He sees that it is as if he did not move for many, many hours at least. And he says the sadhu is okay. He goes back down to the village and he tells the villagers that the sadhu is okay. He's meditating, he's performing lots of penance. And so another day goes by. The snake is still resting comfortably, hibernating in the sadhu's lap. And the sadhu continues to meditate over and over again. Now the villagers, they come back up the next day. And instead of coming empty-handed, now they bring the sadhu his fruits and his vegetables that he always gets. And they place it in front of the sadhu. Of course, he does not even notice. He continues to meditate. And this happened for a few more days. Now, after a few days, the snake woke up and it decided it was time to move on. And when the monk opened his eyes and he didn't see that the snake was in front of him, he became happy. But more importantly, he became more happy because he saw all of the gifts, all of the food, the fruits and vegetables that were in front of him by the villagers that left it there. This is a very, very short story, but it tells you many, many things. The monk the sadhu, he allowed his fear to decide what he was going to do in his life. He allowed his fear to decide what his actions were, what he was going to do for many days at a time. And in this case, that fear that the sadhu had, it actually allowed him, to perform something good. It allowed him to do something good, such as dhyanam, such as meditation. The monk's fear could have allowed for a different outcome, you can say. It could have allowed this sadhu to become crippled with this fear. It could have allowed him to stop meditating, to brush the snake off and run away, to stop living up in the mountains and go down into the village. It could have led him down many different paths. But it is how the sadhu handled his fear that was so admired by the villagers, so admired that they brought him all of these gifts, all of these fruits and vegetables for him. Now you can say that an important moral of the story is that we should look to others and respect them when they are doing something good, when they are achieving something great, just like the villagers have. We can look towards these great people in our life and show our respect to them and support them regardless of the motivations behind that person. If they're doing something good, then maybe we should support them. That's exactly what the villagers did. They had no idea that the snake was resting comfortably in the sadhu's shal. They had no idea that the sadhu was driven by fear, which is why he was meditating. But the true moral of this story, it tells us about our surroundings and, of course, how we react to them. How are we reacting to our surroundings around us? What does our surroundings do to us? How does it dictate our actions? There's something called nature and nurture. You know this? It's a debate, in fact. Many people say that nature is the driving force behind why we do certain things. But many others will say that nurture, it is how you've been brought up, how you've been raised, how you've been taught, that allows us to do certain things, and not just nurture, not just nature. In Hindi, this is called prakriti. Prakriti means nature. And poshan in Hindi means nurture or nourishment. And these two things, they tell us how we develop in life, how we become better, how we become able to achieve different things. Now, sometimes we can achieve many things because the environment allows us to do so. Have you experienced this? You're in a company that promotes from within. If you're working, you're in a company that promotes within. That is an environment that allows you to succeed because you're going to move up the ranks. If they solely promote from within, you're able to take advantage of that environment and to continue along achieving your goals. Of course, sometimes it is the opposite, like the sadhu's case, where the environment is against us. But as always, whether the environment is good or bad, it is how we react to it. This is something that is probably drilled into our minds now. A true saint is someone who reacts the same to good and bad news. This is the teachings of the Ramayana. We know that regardless of that environment, we have to make the best out of it. We have to be optimistic, and we have to learn from that situation regardless. Sometimes, however, we can't react in a way that will make the situation any better. Sometimes that environment for us cannot allow us to succeed no matter what we do. So what happens when we're in an unavoidable situation? When changing ourselves isn't enough? Let's see what Bhagwan Shri Krishna says. Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva Shri Krishna
Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva
Eva Muktva Arjuna Samkhye Stapastattvara Vishvita Shiridam Chapam Shoka Samyagana Manasa Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva 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 Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare
Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva
He Nath Narayan Vasudeva He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. This is chapter 1, verse 46 of the Bhagavad Gita. Eva Muktva Arjuna Samkhye Stopastha Upavishyat Visrijya Shararam Chapam Shoka Samvagni Manasa. Chapter 1, verse 46. This is the last verse in chapter 1, where Bhagavan Shri Krishna does not say a thing. In fact, the person who is speaking is Arjuna. And Arjuna, right before this verse, he begins to look at the crowd in front of him, the army that is laying in front of him on the other side of the battlefield. He sees his family, his friends. He sees a bad situation. He sees his environment around him is very negative, that all those people are ready to fight him. They have weapons in their hands. They are ready to give their life for a cause that is against Arjuna's. They have bows, arrows, maces, swords, and they frighten Arjuna so much to the point that as he sees his family, he begins to become weak. And he complains to Bhagavan Shri Krishna, saying, why are we doing this? Why are we standing on this side of the battlefield when our family is standing on the other side? And so he begins to complain to Bhagavan Shri Krishna about his environment, about his situation. In the verse it says, thus having spoken, Arjuna cast aside his bow and his arrows on the battlefield, and he has a seat on his chariot with his mind overwhelmed with deep sorrow. It is said that Arjuna, he lamented instead of changing his environment around him. You see, this is maybe something that we cannot change. For Arjuna, it's not so easy, of course. He's standing in the middle of a battlefield, and many times you and I are not. For Arjuna, the solution was not so easy, was not so apparent for him in the end. He could not look and find a way to change this environment. He could not persuade anyone on the other side of the battlefield to stop fighting. And Arjuna instead, he was left feeling hopeless and weak. There's a beautiful saying that a parrot can only parrot what it hears around it. It cannot say something that it has never heard before. Right? A parrot, this bird that speaks, learns from what it hears around it, and it cannot say and speak on its own accord. In the same way, that parrot, it needs to, in that case, change its environment if it is being fed the wrong information, the wrong things. I'm not talking about a real parrot. I'm talking about us. If we are in an environment that is allowing us to do certain things that go against what we believe in, that go against what we want to do, then we need to change that environment around us. It can be simple. It can be something simple. I'll admit here, and there's going to be a lot of people laughing when they hear it, that know me, that I'm a little bit late to everything. And when I show up late, it doesn't make me feel good. I know that it's not a good thing, of course. So one day, I was going to school, and a friend of mine who I made friends with, they tell me that they have a parking spot right next to the building. I'm talking 30 steps away from the building of where our classes are in every single day. So I take my friend up on the offer, and I use the parking spot. But the catch is, my friend didn't say this, but the catch is, because I was using that spot of my friends, now I had to pick my friend up and bring them to school with me because they're in my class. But this friend is worse than me, even more late than I am. So what happens for the first week of school, every day I walk in late to class. The teacher has already started me. And if you're in university, this is a bad thing, you know. It's a very, very bad thing. Not only do you miss some important announcements that they make in the beginning, but it's disruptive to the professor. I would hate for it to happen to me, and I understand for the professor's point of view and everyone else. So I walk in about 5 minutes late every single day for a week. And I thought to myself, I need to kick this habit. This is not good. So what I had to do instead was, I had to tell my friend, you know what? I'm going to walk. It was about half an hour of a walk. You know what? I'm going to take the healthy route now, and I'm going to begin to walk to school. You're welcome to join me if you want. Because I realized that both of us together are not a good pair. And so I begin to walk to school and try to get my schedule back on time. And I did, at least for a little bit. The point is, the environment has to change when we cannot change ourselves. Sometimes it's not yourself that needs to change so much as the people around you as well, or the things around you. And Arjuna, he changed his environment, yes. We know this. He had to go through this war. He had to rid himself of all of the negative people, all the bad people, even though that they were in his family. He had to get them out of his life. But what we do not know also is that, or what we should know, is that Arjuna also changed himself in that process. In that 18 chapters with Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he changed himself as well. He listened to Shri Krishna, to the wisdom that Bhagavan was offering him. And in all of these chapters, he learned something new. He asked his questions, as you can see. And he became more wise in the end of that, at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, right before fighting in the war. So not only did Arjuna change his environment around him, he also changed himself in the process, and that is the ideal situation. For me, it would have been ideal if I changed myself to be never late again, and to also change that process as well to make sure that that was the case. And Arjuna, he became that person who was able to do both. It's a very rare case in some instances. But that case means success once we're able to do both of those things. Now let us see a situation where this environment was very bad. It was not so good for the person involved. Ram Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 जग एक वीर रघुराया, जग एक वीर रघुराया, केहि अपारग शेर हुदाया। राम सिया राम, जय जय राम। राम सिया राम, जय जय राम। ओ आरती हरन सरन सुखदायक, आरती हरन सरन सुखदायक, रघुकुल सरोज दिन नायक। राम सिया राम, जय जय राम। 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 सिया राम, जय जय राम। सिया राम, जय जय राम। In the Ramcharitmanas, Prabhu Shri Ram, being in exile, he met many sages, many sadhus, right before the time where Mata Sita was stolen away. But when he was in trouble, when he had to figure out what to do next to find Sita Ma, he did not call upon the help of these sadhus. He began to wander in the forest searching for her. And he came across, of course, someone with an army to help him fight. He came across the King Sugriv, Vanar King Sugriv. When we are in trouble, we need to make a change in life. When our situation is not so good, once you recognize that fact, that things are not working out, then you need to change yourself and the environment around you, of course. And we shouldn't keep on making the same mistakes. We shouldn't keep on mimicking the same things, because we should expect the same results. When someone tells me that they have a problem, I ask, what are you doing about it? Because if you're doing the same things and you're complaining about this problem, then you should expect the same result. You should expect the problem to continue. You should expect that problem to stay right there. This is wisdom that we know of. So when we have a negative situation, a negative environment around us, there are two things that we can change. Ourselves, of course, and that environment around us. You should look at the people in your life. If you're in a not so good place, look at the people around you and ask yourself, are they providing nourishment to you? Are they parroting bad things into your mind? Are they providing you with the right words to speak of? Are they people that can elevate you? Are they feeding your environment to be nourishing and positive? Ask these questions in your mind. And the decision after is yours to make, whether it is you that needs to change or if it's the environment that needs to change around you. Bolo Shri Durga Mata Ki Jai. Thank you for joining with us again, everyone, in Katha and our Friday night service, Shanti Satsangh. Before we stand for Arti, we have 3 announcements. The first announcement is coming up very, very shortly. This is on June 18th that we're having our annual walkathon. Of course, it's something that we haven't had for a couple of years now, but we're ready to get out and be active and engage with our community again. It's to show everyone that we're here. So I urge everyone to come on out. It'll be bright and early at 8 a.m. and you can sign up by visiting our website online. You can sign up by using the forms that are in our mandir here today or whenever you visit before June 18th. Or you can show up on the day of and be able to fill that out. It'll be a good event that we can all participate in. You don't need to do anything in particular. Maybe just bring a hat if it's sunny. It'll be bright and early in the morning at 8 a.m. And I think we're asking a donation of $20, a minimum donation of $20. It's not 100%, but just come out if you can and we'll make it a great event. The second is that on Friday, June 24th, so that's in 2 weeks, we'll be having a classes concert by the students of BSM. So this is where all of our students of BSM are going to be performing, and this starts at 6:30 p.m. It'll be right here at the mandir, so please join with us if you can in celebrating with our students all that they've learned and show them your support as well. And the third is our 12-hour Maha Mrityunjay Havan. This will be June 26th, starting at 5 a.m. and concluding at 5 p.m. Of course, to sign up for this and to let us know that you're coming, please visit our website. You can go to bhuvanishankarmandir.com/Havan. That's Havan, Havan. Thank you, everyone. Let us now all please stand for Arti. यानि कानि च पापानि जन्मन्तरे कृतानि च तानि सर्वाणि नश्यन्तु प्रदक्षिणा परे परे
ॐ जय अम्बे गौरी मैया जय श्यामा गौरी जय अम्बे गौरी मैया जय श्यामा गौरी तुमको निश दिन द्यावत मैया जी को निश दिन द्यावत हरि ब्रह्मा शिव जी ॐ जय अम्बे गौरी मैया जय श्यामा गौरी कनक समान रक्तांबर राज मैया रक्तांबर राज रक्त पुष्प गनमाला रक्त पुष्प गनमाला अंतहार सारे ॐ जय अम्बे गौरी
गगनशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णु भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोऽस्तु ते त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। ॐ गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति ॐ शान्ति ॐ शान्ति हरिः ॐ। बोले मापति महादेव की, पवन सुत हनुमान की, सिया भज रामचंद्र की, श्री दुर्गा माता की, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। जय सीताराम everyone. Please RT will come to you. Please be seated. Have RT will come to you and have a great night.